Hi, today we're going to talk about making this knotted tote bag. You'll see that I'm holding right here. It has a pocket. It's reversible, either the inner, but either side could be the outside. And when you put the long band through the smaller band, it kind of closes up on itself. So it's a great little bag. And we're going to talk about how to make this. So there are two pattern pieces to this project. One like this, and we will need two pieces cut from an outer fabric and two pieces cut from an inner fabric out of this right here. Then the second pattern piece is a pocket, which is just the lower half of this pattern. You could make your pocket any height you wanted, but I made it the entire width, and we'll need two of these for one pocket that could be either on the inside or the outside, depending on how you carry the bag. So I've got those all right here. I've got two pieces of this butterfly fabric. I've got two pieces of a lining fabric. And I've got a pocket. So we're going to start construction of this, and the first thing we're going to do is put our two pocket pieces right side together, and we're going to sew a seam along the top. We're using a 1/2 inch seam allowance for this project. So we're going to sew a seam right across the top, and then we're going to take this, turn it inside out, press this seam, and then top stitch it. So we'll end up with a pocket that looks like this. Okay, it's just top stitched right across the top. It's still open on all the sides. So that is construction of the pocket. So now we're going to start assembly of the bag itself. So you can see here, I've got this pocket pinned to the right side of one of my, this is actually the lining, but it could be the outside as well. I've got it pinned, just matching it with the curve of the bag. And then I'm going to take and sew right down the center of this pocket to make two little openings. I've got a seam right here instead of one. I don't know if you can see that. Like that. Okay. So once we get the pocket affixed to one of the bag layers, one of the bag body pieces, that's all we need to do with the pocket for now. Okay, so we're going to go on to bag assembly. So we're going to take our two inner pieces or outer pieces, whichever you want to start with, and we're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam up at this top on each side of this bag. So here's our right sides together, and we're sewing these top pieces. We're going to press those open or to the side, whichever you prefer, and then press on the right side of the fabric. So now we have a body bag piece that is all together, just like this, with our pocket either on this side or the other, or the outer. I'm going to do the same thing for the outer piece of fabric. We're going to stitch along this top band, 1/2 inch on both sides. And now we have an outer bag piece as well. So now we are going to take the inner bag piece that we just stitched together and lay it right sides together with the outer bag piece. And then we're going to stitch all the way around the inside circle with a 1/2 inch seam. See, I've gone all the way around it. And my next step is I am going to go trim this and press it open. I'll take out the pins, press it open, so I'll be right back. So I am back. I have pressed the inner circle open, and then I pressed the 2 sides together, and then I top stitched. I don't know if you can see, but I just top stitched and then pressed that open too, or press that down. I'm sorry, not open. So I pressed that down. So now I've got the inner circle completely finished, and I'm ready to actually construct the bag body. So to do that, I am going to work with each bag body layer separately. So I'm going to take what I'm calling the outer, the butterfly fabric, and I am going to turn it in on itself. I've got the 2 butterfly layers together, right sides together, and I'm going to pin those together just to hold them while I sew. And once I finish pinning, I'm going to sew all the way around the inside bag to the notch. All right, so on the butterfly layer, I have stitched from notch all the way around the bottom to the other notch. And I'm going to take out my pins, and now I'm going to do the same thing for my yellow fabric layer. And if you notice, I've still got my pocket pinned to that layer. So I'm just going to pin those together and sew from the notch all the way to the other notch. I'll see you when I'm done with that. So before I press this, I want to open this up. I'm just going to stick my finger. What you've got is openings on both sides where the handles are. So I'm going to stick my hands in and pull this, one of the sides out. I can take my pins out of the pockets so I don't poke myself. And you can see that I've got 2 layers. I'm going to open them up. I've got my butterfly fabric layer, and I've got my yellow layer. And now I'm going to press these. So all back and everything's pressed nice and neat. And let me show you what I did here. When I pressed this seam open, or pressed it, I just continued that 1/2 inch press up here, because now what we're going to do is take whichever one you want. It doesn't matter, just pop one layer inside the other like this. I'm going to put my butterfly on the outside, stick it down in there. I could just as well do it the other way with the pocket on the outside. It would not matter. And now I've got a dog peeking in to see what's going on. Now I've got two. Dog and husband are getting hungry. So I've got my one layer stuffed inside the other. You can see, it doesn't matter which one. And I've got now this 1/2 inch that I pressed under when I was pressing. I'm going to line those up together and pin them. And I always like to go in with my pins, but you can do it however you want. And it looks like I made my yellow layer just slightly longer than my butterfly layer. So I'm going to put the yellow layer on the bottom so the presser feet can ease that in for me. And so now I've got this opening pinned, you can see. And now what I'm going to do is sew all the way around it. So these two layers together all the way around. And then I'm going to do that for the other side as well. Pin it, sew it together, and we'll look at the finished product. So here's the finished product. I've top stitched around the corner, so you can see I have a hole now right in there. Same thing over here. I top stitched, and I'm going to trim all the threads. I've got some threads, but I could just as easily turn this inside out and put that pretty pocket on the outside. Either way, it could be worn. And to make the knot, the large tie goes through the smaller tie, and there we have this cute little bag. So there we go. If you wanted to, if you're not great at top stitching, you could also zigzag both on the inside and on the outside. That would be a nice finish that might be a little easier than a top stitch, because it gives you a little more wiggle room. So that's an option as well. So anyway, I hope you'll go make some.